Welcome, welcome. Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, gender. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now what are you doing? You're bringing that thing on. Over and over and over, you're bringing it on. And he says, well, I don't feel like I'm good at anything. And I'm like, oh, you're in a mood today, aren't you, son? He goes, I just don't get it. And I'm like, okay, what are we going to do here? And I just talk him through it. I said, what are all the things you're good at? He's like, I can do this, and I can do this, and I can do this. And by the time he's done listening, I'm just sitting there looking at him. He's like, I do feel better, Ma. And I'm looking at him like, do you? He goes, yeah, I feel much better. Thanks for cheering me up. And I'm like, I did not cheer you up. I just asked you a question. And you turned your mind towards listing off everything you're good at. And I said to him, because you can't serve two masters. You can't have your brain focused on listing what you're good at, and at the same time, you're complaining that you're not good at anything. I said, you can't do both of those things at the same time. So, because you were so busy telling me what you're good at, your body said, oh, this is nice. This feels good. Let me sprinkle some endorphins in here. Because we're about to feel good, y'all. Did you hear that, cells? We're about to feel good. It's how your body responds. This is how it responds. You can't do two things at once. But if you turn your attention, and this is what I told someone yesterday, remember the baby. You're sitting with the baby on the floor and it's playing with its toys, and somebody in the kitchen is talking to you, but something shiny is in there. And so the baby now starts to crawl across to get to that shiny thing. This is where the images freeze. How are you going to handle that baby? Are you going to holler at the baby? Well, sure, that's effective. You'll scare the baby and make it cry, I'm sure. But they have no idea what you're saying. They just know because they can feel and see the expression on your face that you're mad. But what if you just walk towards the baby and say, hey, sugar, your toys, let's go play with some toys. Toys. You've picked up the baby and you've put it back with the toys. You may have to pick up that baby 1,000,000 times. It is irrelevant how many times you have to pick up the baby. It's irrelevant how many times you pick that baby up. So if you pick up the baby and you're not upset with the baby, you're not frustrated with the baby, you just pick up the baby. Oh, you're so sweet. Let's go play some toys. And you go and you play with the toys. What are you doing? That is exactly what you do mentally. Mentally, your brain wants to go back to the old habit. It wants to go back. Yep. It wants to go backward because they're shiny. Ooh, the intrigue. So if you get mad at yourself, how are you going to treat yourself? But if you say, oh, here's where I want to be. Here's what I want to think about. Here's what I want to feel. And you point yourself in that other direction, you're going to feel better in mere moments. You are. So keep doing that. That as soon as you feel the feeling, You say, oh, I don't want to fight. Man, I just want a peaceful day. Well, go back to the thoughts and the images of peacefulness in your world. Because we do these things naturally. But the key now is to be deliberate. This is why you observe. Right? Without judgment. Because the moment you put the judgment in there, oh my God, what if they don't like me? The moment you put the judgment in there, you will now act according to the judgment. Observe yourself. Just look around and you're going to see it. You'll see what you're doing. And when you see what you're doing, whether it is good, bad, or indifferent, when you see it, you're like, oh, I see you. I see you. Right? Why is that necessary? It is necessary to, because you're not controlling the feelings. They're not wild animals that you control. You're observing them, not controlling, because controlling would now mean you're upset about something and you got to rein it in. Right? That's what it means. But if you just say, oh, let's see what I'm doing here. Yeah. The same attitude is the one you take when you sit down to eat. It's the same attitude. So if you sit down and you eat that thing with the attitude of, ugh, it's so fat. I'm so like, totally like, why? I'm so gross. I'm supposed to be on a diet. But I'm so frustrated. I can't even, I just, and I feel worse for eating this food, man. You're talking to yourself like that as you eat. Do you know what's happening in your body when you do that? You're slowing down digestion. You're slowing it down. And because you're feeling guilty, what do? You eat more. And see, it looks like this vicious cycle. So once you recognize how you're talking to yourself, even as you eat, see what I'm saying? So approach eating differently. Yes. Take your time and savor every bite. Because that's a different mentality. And as long as that's a different mentality, it's a different chemistry in the body. And that different chemistry in the body does what? Allow stuff to break down better. Because think about it. We think that we start to eat when we put food in our mouths. No. If you're looking at that dish, the very fact that your mouth begins to water, what is it doing with water? It's not water, it's salivary amylase. It's an enzyme that breaks down carbohydrates inside your mouth. So that when you start to chew, it mixes with the food. It's easier to swallow, for one, and two, it breaks it down into smaller pieces. That's what you're doing. But if you look at that food and you are guilty about eating it, there is no salivary amylase. Because you're looking at it and you're like, it's disgusting. So you You don't want to. So now you're chewing that food and it's like a rock. But the moment it is pleasurable, see? So don't eat out of guilt. Don't eat out of guilt. The law always is on. Everywhere. It cannot take a break. So naturally, we don't take a break from being deliberate. So if you look at it, the feelings of guilt will do what? Bring about its own effect. So now you start to act out of guilt because you're rehearsing guilt. And now you get up on the stage of life and you're like, I'm guilty. And then look at the role you play. See? Look at the role you play. Observe these things as they are happening in your world. Instead of saying, what? You saying I did that to myself? Yes, I'm saying that to you. But because you're upset, you can't hear it. And you think someone's being insensitive to you. But that doesn't change the way the law works. This person last night posted that the universe is cruel. The universe is cruel. And I said to myself, oh, tell me more. And they were talking about how somebody got what they've been trying to get for years, and they just got it accidentally. See that resentment right there? What does that feel like in the body? And then you're asking the question, why isn't that happening to me? Because your attitude is everything is easy for everybody else, not me. So if you are rehearsing that everything is easier for everybody else except for you, you are rehearsing struggle. Well, let's touch that real quick. What's the time? Ooh, okay, Angela, be done in 2 minutes. Come on. We can do this. Hold on, y'all. I don't even know if you know who the Buddha is. Now, when I say Buddha, a lot of people go, oh my God, here we go with a religion again, and Buddha wasn't religious. See, if you are listening to something and you ruffle your feathers or makes you just, right? Check that attitude. The Buddha realized something. The Buddha wanted to know, what role did suffering play in enlightenment? How can I get closer to whatever it is through suffering? So he started to fast. He denied himself everything because, suffering allegedly makes you better. This was the hypothesis. This was the theory he was going to test. Do you know the conclusion that he came to through sheer observation and experimentation? He said, all I could focus on was my suffering. I had no time for enlightenment. My body hurt, and all I wanted to do was relieve my pain. So there was nothing to do with enlightenment. Enlightenment took a back seat. Enlightenment took a back seat in the face of suffering. When we suffer, we are wholly consumed by what we suffer from or suffer with. There is no merit to suffering because it is, and we call it trauma, yes? There's no merit to it. It does not make you stronger. What it does to your body, and the body begins to remember what that feels like and starts to try and avoid it. Now you don't trust people because you don't want to be in that position again, so you're standoffish, right? Suffering, trauma closes you off. It hardens you. Nobody's ever gonna do this to me again. And here now, we build this wall around ourselves. But the problem with the wall is it keeps you in and it keeps everything else out, thereby isolating you. Suffering has no merit. You can argue with that all you want, but then there is the evidence to proving the point that you can't see past the fact. Yes, it does. Look how well I turned out. Oh, oh yes. You're good at arguing with yourself. The problem with suffering is it blinds you to everything else. Because it's all you can see. And when you and I are really just wrapped up in something, you can't see anything else. Nothing gets through to you. Right? But what do? Man, we go out into the world and we play the Suffer Olympics. Ooh, I'm going to get the gold today. Nobody suffered like me. And I'm like, dude, every time you do that, you're reliving it. And then it looks as if, quote unquote, the universe is cruel. Well, it is only law at work. Alan Watts says, as a man thinketh, therefore he is. We only interpret that one way, but there's another way. As a man thinketh, therefore he is. You think, therefore you are. You are aware of the fact that you can think. That's what it means on the other side. As a man thinketh, as he thinketh, well then he is. He's aware. As he thinks, he's aware of what he's thinking. That's why he is. But then, whatever you're thinking about, whatever that predominant mood is, that's going to be your behavior. We don't see that part though, because we're so caught up in it. And the moment you're consumed mentally, but as within, so without. Do you hear what I'm telling you today? If you find yourself engaging in arguments all the time, you, if you observe yourself, are having an argument already in your mind.